Jumbuck!
Look who it is. Strife.
Nah, it's J to the Jumbuck here, and you sir, yes you sir, with the 3 heads and the portly belly will be part of my very first YouTube video and my very first game review ever. Phew. Well, that took a couple of hours, but now that my very first intro to my very first video is complete, let's get started and have a look at Darksiders Genesis. So where do we start? Let's start with the art. I love the art in this game. It's drawn in the style of my favourite comic book artist turned game designer, Joe Madureira. Joe Mad. A little known fact is that Joe had a successful career in comic book penciling before entering the realm of game design. Joe's at the time unique blend of Japanese manga and traditional American art was a revolution, and unique, and successful. But as we know, things that are unique and successful stay unique and successful for about 7.5 seconds before everybody else wants to become unique and successful. I'm looking at you, Carlos.
That is not a little known fact.
When I say little known fact, I mean it's a fact that probably everybody knows. But I don't care, because you guys are just going to have to let me think that I know something that you don't for a little while longer. Anyway, before I was rudely interrupted. The first time I can remember seeing Joe Mad art was way back in the 90s on the Uncanny X-Men. I remember becoming enamored with the style and following his career before having to stop buying X-Men comics from the newsagent and going to King's Comics all the way in the city just to buy a damn copy of Battle Chasers instead of X-Men. Oh well, now you know the long and windy history of me and comics and artwork and things that I pretend to know about. You didn't ask, but I thought I'd tell you anyway. So let's get back to the point. And what's the point? The point is that you guys want to know what I think of the art, and I'm about to tell you. If I was going to give this a rating out of 10, I'd give it a 10. But I'm not giving it a rating out of 10, so let's not worry about it. Let's just stick with the art is really good. Okay, next one is going to be the music in this game. Unfortunately, I don't have any long-winded stories about how this person or that person has a career in something or other. All I'm going to say is, the music in this game is actually excellent. I want to give you guys a little sample. Hit it! Excuse me. Getting a little bit carried away here. I love the tones, the harmonies, the fantastic semi-quavers that composer Gareth Coker has expertly fashioned into this game. The music is a perfect example of what an excellent score can bring to the video game genre. Great music evokes emotion. Great music can put you back to where and when you were when you heard it. Thank you, Gareth. You have achieved this. If I was going to rate this on a 5-star system, it would be a 5. But I don't do star systems except for the Milky Way, so we're not even going to worry about it. Now for the story. The story involves our 2 protagonists, War and Strife, who are 2 of the 4 horsemen. They find themselves charged by the council, who are the entity that gave them their powers, sending them on a quest to investigate something and inevitably kill some heaven and hell, spawned angels and demons alike before having to team up with what's his name and chase after that fella. And as you may be able to tell, I'm not particularly fussed about the story. I think that of the aspects of this game, this is the weakest. I found the story relying on the where and the what instead of the who. So for example, as I already spoiled, we deal with angels and demons, which is interesting. We deal with heaven and hell, interesting. But I couldn't bring myself to really care about the story, which is a bit of a bummer. However, I'm not sure if it's because of my age that I want more, because I've been spoiled with more epic adventures in other games. To describe what I think of this part of the game would be a good time if you're drunk. Oh, thanks, Jeremy. Now it's time for arguably the most important part of the game, the gameplay. Well, it was a shoot 'em up, beat 'em down, spin 'em round, cook 'em, book 'em, grab 'em, stab 'em, kiss 'em. No, don't kiss 'em. Rip 'em, kick 'em, level to level dungeon crawling, sort of Diablo, but not really fun, out of the sun kind of game. I enjoyed it. I liked that the two characters play completely differently and feed off of each other's weaknesses. For the first few hours of the game, I was convinced that war was useless and that I only needed strife. As the game went on and the character progression became more apparent, I realised that strife needs war like the road dog Jesse James needs Billy Gunn. The character balance and design complement each other perfectly. I found the progression system in this game unusual, but unusually good. Anything that's unusual in this day and age generally means that it's new. Unusual can be good or it can be bad, but I think they nailed it this time. The unusually good system was something that I took the time to play with and find the balance that I liked, and sometimes I did it level to level depending on what I wanted to do and how I wanted to see my characters go in a particular scenario. The controls were laid out well, easy to grasp, responsive, and I had no issue slaying chumps in a 10v1 situation. I have a few minor gameplay gripes though. The first is that when I was jumping from platform to platform, I swear all my character had to do was lift his pinky toe up and he would have landed safely instead of falling to his fake death from sheer laziness. The second is that a few times there were minor glitches, but they weren't game breaking. But this is a first world video and I got first world problems, so you guys are just gonna have to deal with it. So, even with these non-game breaking complaints, if this was a chili sauce, I reckon it would rate somewhere in the millions on the Scoville scale. So what's the verdict? Well, if we put everything I've said in this video, I think you can tell that I am a fan. I like this game and I would recommend it for the fair price it's been asked. Unfortunately for you guys, I haven't quite worked out a rating system as a whole. So you'll just have to decide what you make of all of this nonsense that I've talked about today. But the verdict without a rating for me is it's a very fun game for a very fair price. And I would recommend it if you have some spare time on your hands.
You might want to look away for this.
Guys and possibly girls, or maybe just my mum. Hi mum. We did it. This is the end of my very first YouTube video and possibly my very last YouTube video, depending on whether anybody actually likes this or likes my silly voice, my even sillier jokes, and my way past their use-by date references. So thank you for watching and listening. Now, I just want to take a few seconds at the end of my very first YouTube video and my very first video game review ever to thank the guys that I watch and that have given me the inspiration, unbeknownst to them, to create my very own video. The list is written down as, but not limited to, Jeremy Johns, ACG, SkillUp, Force Gaming, Valley Flying, and Raker. So I humbly leave you guys with some of that delightful, delightful Darksiders music and some of the bloopers that I have made while I've been making this video that has taken me an ungodly amount of time to finish. While I've completely broken the fourth wall, if there's anything that you guys can think of to make this better, including my terrible editing and my up and down voice and the way that I sometimes say F's and S's into the microphone that makes that weird blowy sound, please let me know. Oh wait, one more thing, since I'm a YouTube guy now. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See yes. Guys and possibly... So the first thing I want to go over in this video is the very... Darksiders isn't the game that I loved immediately. It's more like that thing that you wish you didn't say, but you more... Darksiders Genesis is the latest game brought to us by Darksiders Genesis, or Darksiders 4 as nobody likes to call it, is the latest in the series brought to us by Airship Syndicate, and is the very first time that we're using a look-down